A sense of beginning, a sense of welcoming, a sense of gathering. This is the first sort of period of this time together, a sense of welcoming and gathering the energy, gathering together in this moment, this time, this space. For each of us, this is where we are. And gather in this virtual time and space, and gather across time. People listen to this or hear this or see this later, gathering across time and space, collecting the energy. Into this moment, and past, memories, right now, the future, hopes, expectations, and fears. And now, this is where the freedom and the power lies. This time, this space. The body is the focus of this. This is where we feel fixed in time and space, where we experience our sense of time and space. This is how it is. Our hopes, the fears that come with the hope, the regrets, the pleasant memories, and this experience now, here, allowing the stillness, allowing the stillness, allowing the sense of sensitivity, the sense of life, to be fully experienced in this moment. The whole of this time and space, this now, this here. In this gift received, and the attention given, and gathering. Welcoming, a breath, breathing in, the belly going out, breathing out, the belly going in. At ease with this, welcoming, this willingness to endure, the experience, the willingness to experience the experience and know this experience, know the knowing of this experience. In the stillness and the silence. Like this. Welcoming it all. Capacity to give attention, capacity to know this knowing, this time, this space. Knowing the silence and the space, the bodily experiences, knowing this knowing, and allowing this balance, allowing this gathering, in this sitting, or in this experience. This inquiry, this interest, aliveness, sensitivity, presence, with what it is, in this what it is. breath, gentle, the knowing known. The whole energetic experience, the whole of the emotional experience, the whole of the sense of aliveness, now, here. And just this, right? The sense of wanting or not wanting, sense of movement, sense of this energetic experience, allowing the stillness of the body to be, allowing the energy of this being in the stillness, and gathered in this gift here now. My breath, well, welcome. The first 15 minutes are like a time for really gathering and what to do with this and how to use this wisely. This is the time, this is the space, this is how we feel ourselves to be. What we make of it, what we do with it, how we relate to it. A sense of being. Where do we find our happiness? This is a wondering. Because happiness is important. Happiness is important. And as some of you know, in that book, Buddha Dhamma, there's quite a lot of lists from happiness, from the supreme happiness to awakening, to deliverance, mental liberation, peace, solitude, unawakened beings, awakened beings, insight, jhana, concentration, refined happiness, coarse pleasure, freedom from rebirth, a good rebirth, mundane happiness, happiness of making an effort, happiness of in the realm of rebirth, constant happiness, wholesome happiness, intoxicating happiness, celestial happiness, human happiness, happiness resulting from fame, happiness resulting from immaterial things, sense pleasure, mental happiness, physical pleasure, happiness of wealth, and the happiness of consumption. All the types of happiness you could possibly wish for. And what to do with it and how to relate to it. And something about this effort to find happiness and a happiness independent of conditions. And it's a strange thing, isn't it? Because that's what we really wish ourselves, a happiness independent of conditions. And then there's a recognition that that happiness, there's something in there that's discontent. That wish for happiness is discontent. Well, so there must be some sort of way out of here. And trying to make yourself happy. What I've found with that is that sense of, I don't like myself, so I want to make myself happy. And that I don't like myself, I want to make myself happy. What that's feeding is a sense of I don't like myself. And when I'm trying to make somebody else happy, it means that I don't really like them as they are. And there's a strange sadness about that. I don't like you as you are. I want to make you happy. A strangeness in that. And then, when kids want to make their parents happy, when parents want to make their kids happy, that sense of discontent that it comes from, and feeding that habit of discontent, that judgment. Please be happy for me, because I don't like you as you are. You're obviously unhappy. Please be happy for me. And what one receives is the sense, if you don't like me, there's a sadness in that. It's not that things can't make one happy. I've just read the list of happinesses from the top to the bottom. But recognizing that happiness is that much, other than a happiness independent of conditions, a supreme happiness. And that has to come from a sense of I'm okay where it's at. This is all right. No sense of pushing away or trying to get or gain. No sense of feeling inadequate in this moment. I want to get happy. I want to get enlightened so that I can always be happy. What one feeds is a sense of, I'm not happy with how things are. Find me the right teacher. Find me the right place. Find me. Tell me what to do. This feeding of this sense of inadequacy, the sense of I can't cope. And think, well, I shouldn't have this sense of inadequacy, I can't cope. Well, that's making it even worse, isn't it? It's, this is the way that it is. This is the limitation of this business here right now. So how to relate? How to wisely consider, to train to give proper attention. This sense of what is proper attention. Yoniso manasikara, figuring it out. How much can we really know? How can we know how to relate to things? For simple things, the basics of life, the monks have the standard of how to relate, of yoniso manasikara, to clothing, food, shelter, medicine. These are basics. These are the things that humans require, and that there's enough resources for these for every human, even though many beings die from a lack of them. What's the basis for clothing? What should you use clothing for? How do you relate to it? How do you relate to things so that you gain the blessings and don't get caught in the danger? This thing that I hammer on about, to know something, its origin, where it comes from, its properties, the benefit you can get from it, the danger of it, and how to relate to it so you get the benefit and don't get caught in the danger. For the simple things like clothing, to ward off heat, to ward off cold, to ward off the touch of flies, mosquitoes, wind, burning and creeping things, and for the sake of modesty. The sense of how do I relate to this is like that. Reflect that this is the basis of it. For food, not for fun, not for pleasure, not for fattening, not for beautification. A lot of the Buddhism is about not doing something other than doing something, but only for the maintenance and nourishment of this body, for keeping it healthy, for helping with this holy life. Thinking thus, I will allay hunger without overeating so that I may continue to live blamelessly and at ease. And, for shelter, how much do you need? Again, sake of keeping oneself warm, oneself protected from the cold, protected from the heat, from the touch of flies, mosquitoes, wind, burning and creeping things, and to provide a place to practice. And for medicine, to relieve painful feelings that have arisen, for the maximum freedom from disease. So that gives you an idea, and I think that some teachers have little gathas or little sayings for different things. So you can make these up for yourself. Wisely reflecting, I relate to my mobile phone, not for distraction, not for gossip, not for wasting time. No, only for finding out, how to get the next bus, for communicating intelligently. And you can work these out for everything that you do. You can make yourself a little gatha or a little saying that this is how I would relate to this thing so that I get the benefit and don't get caught in the danger. Money. Now, wisely reflecting, I'll relate to the energy that is money, so that it's not something that is just wasted. It's not something that's sought for its own sake. It's seen for what it is, so that I don't have to be dependent upon other people's energy in a way that it causes a burden. How do I relate to money? It's a big deal. Money is an important energy. How do I relate to the emotions that I have? How do I relate to fear? To help not do things that are going to be dangerous to myself or others, that are karmically unwholesome, that are actually going to cause harm. To stop that. Not for paralysis, not for sickness, not to get me confused, but a wise use of such a thing as fear, so that it doesn't make too much. And because it's natural, there's going to be fear. If you're a separate being, you're going to be frightened. It's fragile. How do I relate to things? How do I relate to my relationships with people so that they bring blessings and are not a curse? So I know the origin of them, the properties of them, the benefit that I want from them, the danger of relating to them in a way that's going to be a problem, and how to relate to them so that they're not a problem. To give wise attention to my job, so that it's not just a place for something to complain about or to gossip about my fellow people. How do I relate to my parents so that it's a blessing and not a curse? How do I relate to the body, this body? Now, these are the questions for proper attention. It's about considering these things so that it's not causing more pain for ourselves and others. So that we're not trying to force it to make us be happy, force the situation to make us be happy. It's not that there isn't a bodily pleasure. It's not that there isn't also, all sorts of benefits that can come from all sorts of things. It's not the thing, food doesn't taste nice. It's not. There's some food anyway. Some food doesn't taste nice, but it's the way it is. How one relates to it, so that one there is a blessing and appreciation of it, so that the emotions that come from it come from the natural state of an awakened mind. So there's a sense of not dwelling in aversion to it, a sense of using it so that there's less suffering now and in the future, a sense of compassion in this relationship, a sense of joy in this relationship and appreciation. Joy and appreciation are a way of experiencing some happiness and a sense of equanimity that oversees these. So that is the equanimity that's sensitive to the response in the moment that's going to cause less suffering now and in the future. It can appreciate the goodness, can allow one to rise up to the occasion and inspire one. Because this is given, the inspiration is given. It's an inhalation. So the release in the exhalation, the release in the response is without clinging, without looking for a result that you're fixed on. It has to be this way. One of the ways that we fix on results is to think about them. And boy, are we good thinkers. We can think. So much so that people get into this state, if I have to stop thinking, how do I stop thinking? I have to think about how I can stop thinking. this is, you can do it. It's actually not that difficult. It does require a lot of force to just say, no. And then, nope, and keep that going. You can't do it. It's not that impossible. But there's other ways, there are easier ways of doing it. Give your attention to something that's not thinking. I mean, that's why this whole business of concentrating on the breath. It's a way of like, stop thinking, because the attention is just taken up in the sensations of the breath without thought. You can do that. But a simpler way, maybe an easier way, is to notice already what is not thinking now. What is not thinking now? Where is there no thought now? And then that no thought is actually, it's like the silence, it's like the space that's always there. But we don't tend to notice it because actually we don't think all the time. We just don't notice when we're not thinking a lot of the time. A lot of the time we don't notice when we're not thinking. But to notice what's not thinking gives a perspective on what's thinking. And to notice what then takes it personally, feels that the thought is for me. This thought is my thought. This thought is definitely mine. And I want to control it. And to a certain extent, one of the ways of, we do chanting or we do things like that, and it's a way of listening and attuning to that which is around us. It's a mechanism. Putting effort into learning a chant, do enough of that, and then at the end of the chant, at the end of the effort to learn a chant, there's like, nothing's happening. Or give the give the brain something really, really, really to think about. There's this counting technique that I give people. 1 on the first breath, 1 on the second breath, out breath. 2 on the third out breath, and then 1 on the fourth out breath. And then go on like that. You do that for a while. At the end of that, you won't be thinking very much if you manage to get through to 10 and back, because you just have to keep going with that. It goes 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You keep track of that for long enough, up to 10 and back. It might take you an hour or 2 to get there. If you forget where you are, you have to start again at 1. It'll stop. The thinking will be stopped by the end of that. It's not particularly useful, but as a technique, it does work. It's not, but that's a way of it's like doing press ups or exercises. and also learn chants and stuff like that. But notice what's not thinking now. Where is there no thought now? You can't think about that. Because the thinking is always caught up with the sense of I am somebody, I need to do something, and I'm not sure if it's the right thing or not. And I've been on this business for a long time. I need to do something because I am somebody. And I don't know whether it's the right thing or not. I don't know what I'm doing, whether I'm doing is something that's right. Maybe I should be doing something else because I am somebody. Yes. That sense of personality, and then what comes from personality, and these three things go together and go round and round and round. And that's just the personal, but then it goes on to the guy next door, or the parents, or the teacher. He's somebody or she's somebody, or the pupil, or the mother or the father or the girlfriend or the boyfriend. There's somebody, they need to do something, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it or not, if it's the right thing. Which then creates me the whole business of thinking and thinking. What's not thinking? What knows that thought? Where is there no thought? So should we beat ourselves up over this? Should we go and cut ourselves off from the world, fast, not eat, not drink, lie down on a bed of nails? Maybe that's the right thing to do. And there are ways of playing with that. The fasting that I do encourage is actually media fasting. Used to be the idea of giving up reading the newspapers. That was a long time ago. Paper newspapers, remember those? The Sunday papers. Thump. Yeah. Nowadays, it's giving up that little baby in your pocket, a talisman that keeps you safe. The sense of when you don't know where it is, where is it? The car keys, the telephone. Where is it? Where is it? It's a slight panic. Where did I leave it? Could you ring my phone for me? Now, if we could have that same sort of urgency around of mindfulness, the same sort of sense of urgency around the sense of getting lost in something, same sort of sense of urgency about coming back to this breath, this moment, same sort of sense of ease that comes when one's found something. You remember, oh, there it is. Oh, I'm safe again. I have my talisman. In the old days, it might be something that you carried around your neck or had on your arm, or some amulet that would keep you safe, protect you from bullets or from evil spirits. Something with a little garter on it that you can have hanging. Could it just be mindfulness as your refuge? This presence, this moment, a sense of contentment, ease. The happiness is based on a sense of contentment and ease in this moment. A sense of this is okay. I can endure this. There's safety here now. If that's something that one can practice in places where it is safe now and here, great. And then in places where it's not so safe, where one is being attacked, and in the vagrancies of life, which is so uncertain, because you really don't know when there's going to be an earthquake. And for most of us, we're not worried about a bomb dropping on us, but an earthquake is always possible, or some sort of disaster, or some sort of something happens that really shakes our sense of our physical safety. In the immediate experience. If we can practice with being okay now, then if that does happen, then we can be more okay with that. Or when something comes and we get some sort of diagnosis that says, you've only got a few more months to live, or a few more days to live. You've got something that'll kill you. Because actually, we don't know when that might happen. Or you're going to have some sort of debilitating disease that's going to last for the next 20 years, or you're going to lose your hand tomorrow, or your fingers, or your eyes, or your ears. Of course, all of these are going slowly as we get older, most of us. We lose our teeth, our hair, our physical fitness, our mental acuity, our hearing. If we've worked with being as content and at ease with how things are now, when we're not completely disabled, then we'll be more able to face. And that does happen, if that happens. Maybe there is the realization of a happiness independent of conditions, a contentment and an ease that allows things to be as they are, not dwelling in a sense of pushing away anything, a sense of giving the silence and the space and the structure to this being so that there's less suffering now and in the future. Not a sense of trying to make it happy, but a sense of may there be less suffering now and in the future. Because we accept it as it is, but may there be less stress, less problems now and in the future. So there can be a joy and appreciation of how things are now. The fact that there is life, there is sensitivity. There is the possibility to respond in a way that lives in this knowing. And is at ease with how it all is right now, right here, in this experience of this time, this space, this now, this here. Offered for your reflection. And so if you have any questions, go ahead if you want to type them in. I've answered the two I think that were before on the chat for everyone, I think. And I thought I might talk about happiness and thinking. Think your way to happiness. No questions. Everybody is already completely enlightened and wishes all beings be completely enlightened. How to deal with physical pain and mental discomfort in day-to-day life. Well, physical pain, it depends how strong it is, really. Depends how it works. What worked for my mother and has worked for me is noticing what's not hurting. So there's a sense of physical pain, there's a sense of moving in and out of the physical pain, and a sense of noticing how the physical pain actually is. Is it throbbing? Is it sharp? How is it shifting? And as I tell people, I remember when I had a sequestered disc hernia and I was woke up in the middle of the night in excruciating agony and crawled using my elbows to get to the loo in order to vomit and not make a mess on the carpet. And yet there was something that was, as I was doing that, that was saying, this is ridiculous. I was smiling at it all. So I don't know, because I did get hold of some cocodamol at one point, which is a pretty good way of suppressing the pain. And but to notice what's not painful and what's, one of the things, even a simple pain like mosquito bites, they're great. Learning to live with mosquito bites is something that is interesting. That's physical pain, but it's not excruciating agony. But it's interesting. It's interesting pain, mosquito biting you. Because the poor lady, she's only trying to get a little bit of blood so she can lay her eggs. And she only, what's irritating is the anticoagulant that she puts in so that she doesn't, so the blood she sucks up doesn't actually coagulate and kill her. So poor thing. She's only trying to look after her babies. But it is irritating. And then figuring out how to do with that. Mental discomfort. Again, it's the same. It's not that different because but with all of it, you don't have to add to it. The problem comes when we add to it. There's the basic thing that something's happening or something's wrong. And then there's the adding to it, which says, well, it shouldn't be this way. I can't cope with this. This is terrible. This person did this to me. There should be no mosquitoes in the world. The world would be much better without them. And if everybody never irritated me, I'd be much happier. And that is extra problems. It's called the second arrow in Buddhism. It's making things worse through mental proliferation. And this is how to use thought so that it doesn't. Thought again, where does it come from? What are its properties? What's the benefit of thought? What's the danger of thought? How do you relate to it so you get the benefit of thought and not the danger? So how you think about the pain, how you relate to the pain, so you get the benefit and not the danger. And thinking comes from somewhere, it has some properties. Yeah. The four requisites, it's a standard for humans. It's okay. The should be is the bit that's extra. It's not that it should be anything. It's just the way that it is. The should makes it more suffering. Should it be a standard for lay people or to follow as well? No, it's what it is. Can you use that as a way of reflecting contentment? Do you need 2,000 pairs of shoes? I don't know. I probably have, even if I've got 3 or 4 pairs, I've probably got more than I need. But yeah, you need some things, depending on your job and depending on your work and depending on your status and how you need to present yourself. There are ways of clothing and food is food. Shelter is shelter. Looking after it. People ask us to bless their houses, bless their place of living, bless their flat. And it's fine. I go there and I say, Do you realize that to have a house is to be blessed? And if it's got hot and cold running water, it is already blessed. If you've got that, your house is already blessed. So many people don't. And how do you relate to the house so it continues to be a blessing? Do you keep it clean and tidy? Do you keep it repaired? Do you look after it? And do you use it as a place that encourages the 5 precepts to be kept? Encourages people to behave themselves? This is the reflection on how to make a house a blessing, how to bless a house. Just sprinkling water or doing some chants is not really blessing a house. It's actually using it as a blessing. This thing that leaving a place better than you found it is blessing it. There's the people who clean the streets. They leave the place better than they found it. They bless the place. People who destroy and kill, they're cursing it. There's the consequences. Is your life a blessing or a curse? That's the question that I've often asked myself. I don't know. There are bits of it that are a bit of a waste of time, frankly, sometimes. But it's okay. Do the best I can. It's and dwelling in aversion to what's happening it's just going to make it worse. How to deal with injustice in judicial matters, in which one knows the truth and what is just but can't really manifest it. How to deal with having to keep silent and say what convenient, everybody with the risk of being prejudiced. Talk the truth more than one should. How to deal with forced silence or constraint in words. One's at stake and unfocused from the truth. How would Buddhism deal with these matters? I'm not sure. That's a short answer, and I'm not sure that I know I can really speak for all Buddhists or what the Buddha would say, because I really don't know. I feel sometimes that to fight for justice or to get involved in politics or to get involved with things and to do it as a gift, to do something so that it's a gift. So when you give something, you're not bargaining or expecting results. You're just doing it as a way of offering. And if somebody doesn't accept what you offer, well, that's their business. But it's an offering. I'm not saying don't get involved, don't involve the Lord, don't involve the whatever, don't say your piece. I'm not saying just be silent and get pushed over. Know your limitations, know what you can do and what you can't do. The story is that Luang Por Chah, when he was asked what to do about the situation in Cambodia, when there was the Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge were doing, he just said, I don't have the wisdom to deal with this. And even the Lord Buddha couldn't stop the son of one of his first disciples murdering his father in a most horrible way. He couldn't stop all sorts of things happening. He couldn't teach his cousin how to behave. There are limitations as to what one can do, and how things work out will be according to causes and conditions. And karma is one of the ways that things work out. This is a teaching that I have confidence in. It's a description of how nature works. There are consequences to moral actions. And how things work out will be how things work out. And I don't really know if one can do what one can as a sense of a gift. One of the things that one of the monks used to say is, to his monks is make sure you lock your places, make sure you keep things secure, so that you don't provide a place where thieves are encouraged to go. So to look after your things in a reasonable way, to do what you can, as a gift. If you get into politics, by all means do it as a gift. It's an incredibly thankless task. Absolutely crazy thing to get into. But if you It's a way of acting in the world. If you vote, vote for the person rather than the policies. I would anyway. If you have the chance to vote. If you do have that sort of opportunity, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't. And we're lucky to be able to do things, have a sense of appreciation and joy that we can do some things, that we do live in a place where we can do this. This is how it is. I'm not sure if that helps at all, but that's the best I can do.